Hello and welcome to the Halo Forge Epidemic. This is Oakley HiDef and I'm here with Mr. Pokephile.
Hey everybody, what's going on? We're checking out this map right now. We are on Through the Ages, and the game type is Purple Bunker.
And this is a map that was actually inspired by what Mr. Pokephile had done in Halo 3. So in Halo 3, he was pretty active on Forge Hub. I know you did a lot of great stuff, and you were known as Bloodfire there. And
Yeah.
you came up with the map called Purple Bunker. So you want to talk about that briefly?
Yeah, sure. Actually, the way Purple Bunker we came up with it was I was playing in a custom game, and we thought it'd be hilarious to keep knocking back the zombies as far back as possible. And we kind of started playing around with the game type more idea. Then finally, I just jumped into a Forge lobby right before we did a TGIF, which was a game night we used to have on Forge Hub, and I started making the map, and it took me about 10 minutes, and then I played it that night with the lobby, and it was a huge hit, and everybody seemed to love it. So I posted on Forge Hub, it got featured, and it got a lot of publicity, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I remember playing that, and I thought it was really ingenious, just using the blowback effect of the needles, and in this case, when we ported it over to this map, it's using concussion rifles, which actually works pretty well.
Yeah, oh, it works just the same as it did in Halo 3, so I'm really glad that it transferred that well.
Yeah, and the whole idea behind this map is you can see the defenders up here, so we called this map Through the Ages, and the reason we did so is because you're fighting against the purple monsters through the ages. So the first tier, this is Invasion, is going to be, you know, attacking a medieval fortress. Second tier is going to be World War II. Third tier is going to be the future. So the game type for this uses Invasion. 3 tiers. Each tier has territories, and each phase lasts 2 minutes. So it's 3 rounds of 2 minutes. And the objective is for the attackers, the monsters here, to slowly creep forward and get into the objective and just stay there for 5 seconds. The defenders, on the other hand, spawn up in a certain area and they have to force them back, and they're given 2 weapons. And I would say it's pretty fun. It plays kind of like a castle defense map, sort of a Plants vs. Zombies type of thing. It's really cool. I love the game type, and I'm so happy Mr. Pokephile was able to help me, you know, port it over to Halo Reach.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of fun when you're sitting up there on top of the castle at this point, and you're, as you can see, just pounding back the zombies. It gets really intense. I mean, you're constantly sitting there on the edge of your seat, freaking out. People will be yelling, as annoying as that can get sometimes, but in a good way. You'll all be yelling and just having a good time playing this map, which is, I think, one of its strongest points.
Yeah, and it actually takes a surprising amount of teamwork. You have to call when people are coming over from one side, focus fire. And what you'll see right here is we've moved on to we're going through time. So now
Okay.
for this phase, we're on the beaches of Normandy, and this is the D-Day phase.
Oh yeah, this is a cool thing. I've always really liked D-Day maps when they're done well, and when they look cool. And it was really cool that we could actually bring themes into Purple Bunker here, as opposed to just an open room where you're shooting down the zombies. It was really cool to kind of like, yeah, I know, like have different sort of aesthetics, and the whole time traveling part is really cool because when people are playing it, at least when we were testing it, they're like, oh, we're traveling through time. They got it right away, which is kind of cool. And I just like the way this part looks. I thought it looked really cool with the tank stoppers and the water, and really gives you that whole invasion kind of feeling that you get with this type of game.
Yeah, it's what I really liked, especially in the water. From the very beginning, you get all the water splashes when the concussion rifles come in. It's really sick. And it gives you that D-Day feel just because you have explosions everywhere. Like, look at this. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
You have all the barricades, and then, of course, you kind of have the goofiness of the elites flying around, but it's still really cool. And something that went into this map is the barricades. They're put in strategic locations. So what you'll see with the traits of the attackers is they're pretty slow and they can't jump pretty high. They can't jump high at all. They can like bunny hop a little bit, but we put in different barricades so that they're channeled into different areas. And you'll see that we play a lot with pathing. So in the first phase, you saw that they can mainly take 2 approaches, around the main rocks, and that just allows the defenders to focus on different choke points and try and hold them down. So there is more of a competitive side to this minigame too.
Yeah. I think also the cool part about this is a very cool strategy that you can use if you're defending actually is to use your concussion rifle to knock the elites up in the air, and then use your needler to actually make them fly a lot further back. So you can see a couple people are doing this right here, where they knock them up with a concussion rifle, then fly them back with the needler, which is a very good strategy, and it works really well.
Yeah, like you'll see if you shoot a needler on a guy who's just on the ground, he won't move back. But the second he's in the air, like that, and he blows up, you'll go flying back. So you need a combination of both types of weaponry, which I think it's really cool. It adds more to the strategy. And I don't think you had that in the original Purple Bunker, right? It was all just needlers?
Yeah, it was all Needlers because there wasn't really another gun, at least that we played with, that worked well enough that do that. But in Halo 3, the Needlers did have a little bit more of a knockback. So
Yeah.
a lot of the times on the map itself, we had to have there was different parts where the zombies would normally get hit into, and it would shoot them up, and they'd almost hit the ceiling. And so I had to have roofs in strategic places to stop them from doing that. But I'm very actually glad how well this turned out with the different knockback here. I think it's cool that Reach has more guns with knockback.
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised. And here you can see we're moving on to third phase, and this is the future. So you see, you know, it's a little cleaner in terms of the forging. We used a lot of straight lines, so wall coliseums, coliseum windows, and then we used sort of one-way shields and shield doors up there to give a little more color. We use a grid to put a little blue lining. So a lot of stuff to make it look futuristic. And you'll see over here, kind of the main gameplay element is there's a shorter way you can take, but a more dangerous way you can take, and that's coming across the bridges. And so what you'll see is, you know, it's narrow, so you can kind of get hit up in the air. Sometimes you'll land back on the bridge, or sometimes you'll fall off the edge. And if you fall off the edge, you'll end up dying, and you restart at the beginning of the level.
I always try to take that bridge. I don't know what it's about. Maybe it's a risk, but and every single time, I don't think I've gotten across once. I always end up falling in one of those pits, and I get frustrated every time.
Yeah.
Another cool thing is these shield door bouncers right here, that if you get knocked back in front of one, like you finally get in front of one, then you can get knocked back, and since it's a one-way shield, it will send you back, and you gotta go all the way around, which I thought was really cool here.
Yeah, initially we had crates right there, and it blocked the elites from moving forward, but once they're past that, the humans couldn't push them any further, because they would kind of be pinned against that. And so what we wanted is we wanted the ability for the elites to be pushed back. You know, something that keeps them from progressing, but once they're past it, they can fall back behind it. So that was what the one-way shield doors provided. So I think that was a really cool gameplay element.
Yeah, I also really like how well the futuristic kind of look went with this particular phase. It really came through. I mean, if you compare it to like the first phase, you can clearly tell that it's an advance in time, which is pretty interesting. And I think that all the different elements that were used on this phase really look well for the futuristic type.
Yeah. And one of the cool things I want to mention is with this game type, what Mr. Pokephile and I were talking about doing is trying to popularize this game type as much as possible. So what we're going to do is make a video later on explaining how it all works. We're going to give you guys a default map with all the elements you need. So the spawn points, the objectives, everything you need to make a standard map like this. And then what we're going to do is host a contest. And the way this is going to work is we're going to announce it in a video. But because each of these maps takes place in 3 tiers, you can have fun with it. So instead of doing Through the Ages, maybe you can do one that's the Lord of the Rings trilogy. So each level you have a different emblematic battle from the Lord of the Rings. Or maybe you can have a map that's called The Matrix, and you would have, you know, a scene from each of the Matrix movies, or Harry Potter, or Indiana Jones. So you can do a lot of stuff like this, and I think that'll make for a really fun map contest for several reasons. A, you can be really creative with the game type and the triple level design, and also the game type is going to come standard. The elements are going to come standard. So you don't have to do anything with that. Everyone's going to come out with the same basic tools. All you have to do is be creative with the map. So I think that's going to be really cool.
That'd be definitely cool. The 3 things, I think that'd be cool to have Star Wars.
Oh yeah, or
Just
Star Wars.
that.
There you go.
Yeah.
You could do the original Star Wars or the new ones, you know. So you can do a lot of stuff like that. So guys, stay tuned for that. We'll announce it in the near future. Thanks guys, this has been Oakley HiDef with the Halo Forge Epidemic and Mr. Pokephile as a guest. So thanks guys, make sure to like the video and subscribe. See ya.
Thank you.